Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to 2022, and welcome to the series Robots, Eggs, and Farms, and the Metaverse. This is Gaming with Blockchain. I'm your host, Yu, and I know it's been a while. Trust me, I've missed doing these presentations and the chance to kind of keep informed and touch base with you folks. I'm hoping and grateful that you guys have been sticking around and actually sending me some correspondence and emails or some kind of follow through. So the comments are great, and we're adding to it. This is maybe about a 3 or 4 part series. Unsure just yet. We're just rolling through it as we go for this for the new year. What our plan is that there will be a selective amount of games that we're going to look at, see how well they develop, what their resources are like, how they're developing. And of course, we're not touching every single game, that's just not possible. But I hope there will be games that you like and things that you enjoy. And what are the chances? Where would they be in the next 3 months? Where would they be in 6? Where would they be in a year from now? Come the 2023 turnover. So, without further ado, let's get started. And we're looking at the game Novopangea. Now, if you look up what Novopangea is, it was a concept. I can't remember his name. I think it's Patrick something. That believed in the reconnection of all the landmass on our Earth. Before we, through evolution, we saw the land masses kind of split apart. This is a theory now where the land masses merge and come together. And there'll be 6 realms in this particular game category. And I'm not going to go through everything right now because this is just a launch. So all these series right now, we're looking at the most recent games that we've kind of entered into until we get to our top category later on. And these are just the ones we're starting. I'm pretty excited with this particular game itself. We have the realms, we have the collection series that they're bringing in, the kind of cards and their rarity scale that they have presented. And you just got to enjoy the artwork that's here. The creator credits that they have, the story mode that's being presented as well. And like I said, these will all be in the show notes. How they're going to be rolled out, what all that means, the token that's coming in place, the gameplay token that's coming in, and of course where you can buy your packs. So they just now opened up their Players Hub. It's all in beta mode. This will be the first time I'm actually going into it, and so you're watching it as I'm entering it for the first time as well. So it is our community player with me that we were trying to do this, and of course we have to do all this whole sign up, which I haven't done. So I would have to come back to that later on and go through this whole process, which is unfortunate. I thought it would be something that's as simple as creator name and not going through this whole shingabang. But let me pause this and I'll see if we can come right back to it. Give me a few moments here. Okay, welcome back. So I just signed in and did everything that was supposed to be done here in the category. Unfortunately, you had to choose a realm that you want to be in. I wasn't too sure yet, but I'm in the shadow realm right now. I'm not sure if we could be able to change that later on. Hopefully that we can. It shows you all the credits that you have currently in place, your voting ticket value, and the coins that will be coming in. Now, why you have these credit showing right now is because when you have these credits will be applicable to when you're going to either vote, and also when it comes to the land sale that's coming later this month. So all the rarities in here has allowed me now that I could get 1 land. They have like a discount option as well, so that the more credits you have and the more land you purchase, you receive a credit or say reduction in price depending on the volume that you're going to purchase. So I do have to get about at least another 17 to get at least 2 lands in place. Maybe I'll get some more packs later on. That's still pending at this time. We're like I said, we're kind of assessing where we're going with this in terms of how much time can we really participate, because a lot of these games, remember, as much as I'm showing this to you, the major thing of having these games succeed is active participation, right? You don't want, there's people who just want to flip for the sake of flipping. and that's one aspect to it. And then there's the casual player, which is, like I said, more of who we are, versus the heavy induced. I'm in it for maybe 3 or 4 hours a day, really building up their realm, or building up the world. I'm not saying that we won't participate in maybe a major player who's fully involved, but we're still deciding where we're going to weigh it and how we're going to weigh it. And we hope to, with all these games as well, and you'll hear me say this moving forward, that there's collaboration with other players, smaller players if need be, smaller units, that brings in the whole compass of the gameplay. That's yet to be evolved. That's yet to be seen if it happens. If there is something like sponsorship, is there something like team collaboration? That's yet to be discovered. But nonetheless, like I said, I do like what I see, and I enjoy the development that this game has put in place. Like, they've thought this through. They've put in all these different options, trying to minimize the complexity, and then allowing players to really engage themselves into the game. Now, this is still in beta. This is still not a full-fledged game play just yet. They're just testing out the layout. They're testing out the features. And I like the layout, too. Very clean. This will be one of the things I'll be mentioning moving forward in this series. I'm looking at layout. I'm looking at functionality of the layout because, again, if you're thinking about onboarding and bringing in a new user base, if things are too complex and way too, out there, where's the new player going to grasp the gameplay or the dynamics of the gameplay? Again, we're thinking about not people who are already seasoned gamers, who can navigate the scene and like the back of their hand. You have to anticipate new players to the crypto space, and then new players to the whole dynamics of what this all means. Everyone in their own way is a natural gamer to some sport, either game or sport or something. There's something that they enjoy, but you want to be able to make it as frictionless as possible. So I do like the layout. I like where the project's going. Now I know how many credits I have and my voting tickets that I have available. So that's good to know. And now we're going to decide amongst ourselves, based on what we have accomplished in terms of our credits, how much further are we willing to dive in. I think we're going to go in a little bit further for sure. But again, the rabbit hole level, how deep, right? So that's Novopangea. Again, this is, like I've said before, and I should have said it from the beginning, I'll highlight this disclaimer. This is not financial advice. This is just perspective and suggestions. Do your own research, look at the project, look at the team, and decide if there's something you want to throw money into, knowing that it's a possibility you lose that money, right? There's no guarantees here. But I think this project has a possibility of doing really well in 2022. So now we're going to move on. We're going to move on to HodlGod. HodlGod is now one of those games that are coming into the blockchain scenario as a MMO type of thing, like literally active, fast, speed, interactive, which is one of the things that was not possible for most of blockchain games in the past. It was very, very static. You had to wait for the response from the blockchain. You had to wait for the features to be played out. There's always a slight delay. So now what's been happening based on the engine that they're using called Unity, they're now taking the responsiveness of traditional gaming and then blending it with blockchain and NFTs. This is now one of those games that I don't play. This is not my style of game. This will actually make me crazy in terms of that kind of style game, especially now knowing that I would have to use a keyboard to do it. But nonetheless, if you're a gamer and this is your style of game, from like Assassin's Creed or any of those types of games, this would probably be up your alley. And what I like about this, click onto their website, is that they have the features of how you can play here. This particular game is the last person standing type of thing, but in building this game or playing this game, you can create scholarships, right? So you always hear about all these scholarships like Infinity, Axie Infinity that has it, but now other games are thinking about that process as well, and how they've kind of blended in for their own. And in this case, I think they've done an interesting thing. They've created an NFT which then can be staked and then also backed by their token called Void. Then what's released from that staking is think of it almost like a copy of the NFT itself, but it says leased. So that leased copy can now be given to a team of players that would utilize that leased NFT, and based on the duration that lease exists. So if I leased a particular asset for 2 weeks, a player would have access to that asset for 2 weeks. Pretty good. And when that 2 weeks is up, the asset's no longer available. So it's like an incentive. It helps also bring in new players on board. Again, depending on the price point, depending on the availability, and again, if they're an eager player and they love the game and they're willing to play extensively, well, here's an avenue in which that can be fulfilled. So what they have done now, they've revamped their staking process. They've cleaned up the UI. I did make mentions of that before, where things would look kind of glitchy, and now they've gone through it and made some significant changes for that. And so I haven't staked anything. I won't go into the process of doing that as well. Again, it's something that we have to look at project-wise and find out if we're going to kind of lease this to teams, if players are interested in playing the game significantly, and then determine what those features will be. So we're looking into it. I've staked before. The staking has been released. Now I have to kind of make the decision. What will that be now moving forward? If we're going to do a scholarship for some players, join a larger pool for scholarship team. We're just there. We're not. This is again another new game that was released. They've been in cycle for maybe about 3-4 months now. So I think they'll start to take action and make a lot of headway. Remember, this is on Wax. This project has several games on different blockchains. This particular one's on Wax right now. I think it's going to be one of those games that's going to make a difference in the gaming on blockchain type of performance, because it is now action based. There's a lot of gamers who are not interested in strategic static games. They prefer something with a little bit more feedback and I guess venture based, and this is one of those games that can deliver in that avenue. So I think something, again, if that's your style, something to take a look into. And like I said, if we're going to be doing any sponsorship, we'll be looking into that kind of shortly as well. So now here's another game called Farming Tales. Same thing, built on the utility of Unity, and this is now one of those projects now that are becoming very, very popular. A lot of people have been asking, what is an NFT? What's it mean? I don't get it. It's a JPEG. It has no this. It has no utility. As I said, utility is very subjective. It's relative, right? If a person buys an NFT so they can hold it and post it in their digital canvas, that's the utility for them, right? But a lot of the population is looking for something that's a little bit more direct and trying to make gains as quickly as possible. And remember, that's not something that we're here to discuss. We're looking at projects that have the potential to be sustainable, long-term, revolutionary. And I think Farming Tales hits that mark as well. So here's a project that their crypto farm NFTs will represent real products from their real farms. Now, I won't go through all the details here, but it's something you should, if you're interested, look into. Look at their white paper, like everything, read about it, understand it. One partner is playing this game right now, so hopefully at a later date I'll get a video recording to kind of update the play of itself. I'll let you see the short story of what's going on here. So there you have it, a general overview of what the game is. Here's a roadmap that they have outlined for the development process. Different products, like our partner has a cow and a pig, and I think they're going after maybe some honey as well. But again, it's the stages. It's again being strategic, deciding how you're going to play the game, what are the features you want to do in this game, and then looking at how these rewards will come into fruition at a later date, of course. Now, some of these games, and excuse me for my cold, are simple crafting games where there's always a bit of blending, but the majority is crafting and upgrading, as well as we know that's very popular with NFTs. This is no different, but again, it's also still building strategy on its own. So if you take a look, like I said, I don't have any assets in this particular game myself, but let's see what the game looks like as a visual, and you can kind of explore. So here we are, and you can see it's again key base. You know, you walk around, but I'm hoping to get from the player standpoint what they've done and showcase it to you and find out where they are in their development stages. So you can see it's just everything around it. You know, I wonder if you could change your avatar. I'm not too familiar with that myself, but you can see there's options here of what can happen, right? And you can see around the world as I spin, and you can see you're in your own farm. You got a tractor, so I think it's doing pretty well as a project right now, and it can only continue to do well in the future. So that's our farming tales, and let's see if we can get out of here, because that's one of the things that I think will be something to watch for, is to make sure that we can get in and out of the game easily, because it says press cursor, and that's what I'm trying to do. There we go. Okay, our last game of this segment is called The Seventh Seal. Now, before I get into the gameplay, this is now a classic game. This is a turn-based game, so you have to wait your turn before you can play a game again. Now, recently they've gone through their test feature. They're doing a little bit more releases as the game evolves. You can earn in this game as well. There are options in which the community can build or become a cartographer and build maps in the game, which I think is pretty good. This is a completely different style. This is a completely different tempo, and this is the best way I could describe it. And it's something to really kind of feel the engagement with, and I think it was pretty cool. I played it the other day. I finally played it on the older system to test it and help facilitate what was going on. Now this will be the first time I'm going to test it on this newer system, because it works. A lot of games, as we know, work better on PCs. Not everything works as well or as smooth on Mac, but not that I'm going to suddenly change over to PC. Not going to happen. But I'm very happy that these games have acknowledged that there's other users besides PC users, so they have support for Linux and they have support for Mac as well. So let's pause this for a second as I launch the gameplay, and we'll see how this rolls out, just for a temporary moment. So welcome back, everybody. I just had that slight moment to pause until the game kind of loaded, and I'm just signing in right now. It's probably be a little slower than normal, but we'll see what we have. So I'm going to first test and see if the cartography portion works, so you can see what that's like. And if not, then I'll come back to the main game, and we'll show you what the solo game feature is like as well. And so we'll see how that kind of loads. I'm just going to put in my Wax account. And hopefully it shows the inventory. And unfortunately it does not. So that means that the mapping feature is still not working for some Mac users at the moment. Doesn't mean anything, but what it does tell you is that you can build this map and you can see how everything unfolds. And then when you build a map like this, other players when they're playing on this map, depending on how they travel on your tiles, these little kind of honeycomb shaped items are called tiles. You can earn the in-game token once that's released, but unfortunately can't show you that part of it right now because it is not loading. So I will have to go back to the mainframe, and now I have to find out how to do that, and press quick to main. So we'll quick to main, and I still have to enter the name again. So these are little, again, as a game that's not fully released just yet, it's still in testing phases. These are things that we'll probably work through as far as the minor bugs. Now I'm assuming this is going to work as well as my gameplay that I had on my older system, but no guarantees. So what you have here is now the land tiles that you have. You have your kind of like a worker, peasant, and then you have your knight that's your protector. You can select between the next player. Unfortunately, it doesn't work by a mouse click, and maybe it does. I don't know. This is what the features I have right now on my mouse. And I can select, remember it's a turn-based, so I'm going to select just in queue, I'm going to select for them to move, because I want them to move here. The move is one turn. That's the turn I have. And I want this knight to move, and click their position, and I want them to move here. Whoops. Close. I want them to move. And why they're not going to move? Because they have nothing to do. Oh, yeah, here we go. It's not so much to move. I wanted to chop a tree. They can't move because they can't move in trees. I know it's kind of illogical, but you gotta think of it. It's a mass right now that they can't walk through. So I was pressing move for the wrong thing. So these are my turns that I have in place. I'm gonna finish my turn. So when my turn is ended, what's gonna happen is that this knight's gonna knock down trees, and this worker is gonna move to the field or open tile. So press that timer at the bottom, and you can see the two tasks or the two executions have been applied. The knight moved over to the knocked, or I should say, harvested trees, and then the peasant now has built or has moved to the tile, and we need to build a farm. So building a farm means I have enough food to add to my reservoir. And if I want to have this knight, I can say now this knight can move here. Now, why would I want to do that? Right now, I have all these players that are on board, and these players now are AI players. I don't have other players in the game, other human players in the game. So if I were to zoom out right now, whoops, let's see what key command, there we go. I go look at the map. That's one thing I would hope that when they do it, you could do the scrolling with the mouse. And I can see over, I'm solo for now on this map. Right? I'm playing solo for the moment. But here's a keep that's right there that's being, in time will come and slaughter me, because like I said, I got slaughtered last time. And then there's other developments that are coming. Here's another keep that's hidden. You can see them kind of in the shadows right now, and they're just being gentle, I would say, giving me enough time to kind of build reservoir before they come and give me a hard time. So right now in my turn, I have the knight's going to move over to this tile, and I have the peasant, and the next turn it's going to build a farm. Once that's complete, I can go to the keep now and select another army. So no, I don't want anyone to fight. Go here and wait for him to stop just for now. so they're not automatically just moving. And I'll just go to my next turn. So see, right now I have yours truly coming here. So I do need to get my keep army going. And I have to kind of find out why that is not happening. So I have the farm. There's my training army right there. So this guy, you know what? I don't want them building anything too close. So I'm going to have him move here. And then that's my turn. So right now I have a turn that's here. I'm putting this knight in the next turn. They're going to move over here. And I'm going to build myself another army. And then this guy is going to build a farm. So all these tasks are assigned. I have the knight that's going to move over to kind of watch out from yours truly. I'm building another knight in place, and I'm going to build a farm. So my turn's now that I've exhausted. And this one's just on hold for the moment. And they're just going to engage. And I'm going to say for this guy to move. And you can see what's coming around right now. As you can see, players are coming in place. So I want this one to move here. And I think I'm going to take this knight and I'm going to move him over here. Just for the sake of being prepared. Now I can build the next resources that I want. And I gotta move him over here. And I have to build my next army. Now, what do I want to do? I want to have a knight chop some more trees so I could build another farm. So I'm going to build, I can't build a farm because I have a tree, a little shrub. So that's not going to happen. But hopefully you gain the gist of what's going on here. I'm not going to get into it because I'm actually doing well, but I'll leave this for now in terms of next time. This is to show you as a demo what could be done in the game as you're playing the game, and you kind of have to strategize because it's not like you can do all these tasks consecutively one right after the other. You have to now wait till your turn is created, then kind of strategize what you'll do next, and depending on where you are. So if I wanted to build another keep or another area, I have to wait 3 tiles. So essentially I can build one here, but I would have to again cut some trees, get my knights over, cut down some trees, and build, because I will be 3 tiles away theoretically from this main keep, and that's what you want to do. So then you have 2 army bases being built at the same time. Now, like I said, it's a strategic gameplay, different style of gameplay. That's the point. Worst thing to do is having all these games look alike, play alike, basically reward the same way. The outcome is the same. You want to beat your opponent, but you want to have something, a little variety, a little different style to it. So I really liked this when I saw it. I thought this is a nice little classic feature, and completely different in development style. Okay, so that's it there. I'm just going to quit to main. I'm not going to save it. You can't save it. And we'll kind of sign out completely. And we're just wrapping up. That's part 1. That's part 1 of the, robots, eggs, farms, and the metaverse. We're moving down the line. We're catching up to part 2. And so stay tuned. Take care.